Alrighty. How's it going, guys? Fuck it. Let's just jump right in. Oh, did you catch up indeed? You did. Oh, good stuff there. Alright, looks like we're in for another small party tonight, so it's going to be another intimate game sesh, I think, guys. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Nice and cozy. I hope I'm not sounding too loud, too quiet or anything. Alright. Well, the votes are coming in, so I'm updated once I put Kyoko in. Yeah, I think Kyoko's a home run at this point. I think she is very going to confidently be up there. We'll see. So, we're going to be jumping straight into a class trial this time. We literally ended at a ding dong, a bing bong. So going in... yeah, going in pretty hard and fast in this one, so... yeah. Then we're going to be in Chapter 6. We're in home stretch territory, guys. There's two ways this will go. 2 streams, or like a fucking half stream, or this is it. I don't think this is it, but it could be. So, 2 whole trials, yeah, I don't know.
Time is utterly silent, and yet it constantly assaults us organisms, the earth, natural phenomena.
Poetic.
It damages us little by little until the end. You should really think about that. Anyway, it's time to begin the class trial.
Class trial!
So, please meet up in the usual spot.
Heroes going up, up, up.
See you later.
Then the time has come. All we can do now is try to uncover the truth during the class trial. Right. It would seem that way. Let's go. Oh, Mr. Gray's room.
Whoa! Byakuya and Makoto showed up together, okay?
Where the heck have you two been? You just disappeared without a word! We were investigating, of course. How could you not figure that out by this point? Makoto's ranked high enough for you guys to go off together, just the 2 of you? Huh? What? You jealous?
Hey. Or are you making up some kind of creepy fantasy for yourself?
What?
Stop talking and brace yourselves. He'll be here any second. Any second? He could show up at any time. When I imagined what was about to happen, I immediately tensed up and prepared myself. But we stood there for 5 full minutes waiting for something weird to happen, and then 5 minutes became 10. So first off, who's the body? Is it this Mukuro or is it Kyoko? That's the first mystery to solve. What's going on here? Why hasn't Monokuma shown up yet?
Could it be? Oh, maybe he died again?
What should we do? Should we keep waiting here?
Oh, what? Oh, Jesus!
Did I scare you?
Come on.
I demand an explanation. Why did you waste my time and make me wait like that? What? I made you wait? You've got it all backwards. You're the ones making me wait. Huh?
In other words...
I'm waiting for everyone to arrive. We can't start till everyone's here now, can we? Huh? What are you talking about? Everyone is here? We've all been waiting for you? Sorry, but you're wrong. But I've been waiting 10 minutes now, so it's okay if I punish the one making us all wait, right? If we agree it's a violation, I'll arrange a punishment right now. If it's me you're waiting for, I'm here. When we heard that voice, we all spun around to look. I'm here and no rules are being broken. Kyoko! Kyoko, you're still alive! Ghost! Stop talking. If you want to fight, do it at the class trial. You need to save some of the fun for later, right?
What?
But is it okay that there's no particular penalty for being late?
Is that right?
I made it here just fine. What school regulation did I violate? Am I wrong? You're so selfish, so spoiled. You're right, there's no penalty, officially. But I bet you'll be sorry later. No, I'll make sure you're sorry later. Anyway, hustle your butts into the elevator. I'll be just one step ahead of you. Monokuma was gone. We all rushed up to Kyoko-san. Kyoko-kun! So you really didn't die?
Indeed.
Of course I didn't die. Thank God, I'm so glad you're okay. Perhaps, but that's not necessarily a good thing for us. Huh?
He's right! Now we've got to deal with a ghost!
I told you, stop talking.
Let's go.
Come on, let's just go. Whatever we need to discuss, we can do it during the trial. Without ever looking directly at Kyoko, Byakuya stepped into the elevator. Master, wait for me.
Good call. Who knows what might happen to us if we take too long?
I'll be happy when this trial is all over. One after another, everyone piled into the elevator, but I couldn't help myself. I had to talk to Kyoko before the trial started.
Go to her, Makoto-kun.
Listen, before we get started, I have to ask you. Where have you been this whole time? You used that key of yours to go somewhere, didn't you? So...
Correct.
I went to investigate the second floor of the dorms. The second floor?
That's right.
There aren't any monitors or cameras there, so I was able to avoid Monokuma completely. Of course, I also missed his announcement because of that. I had no idea a body had been discovered. Then, when did you find out?
So...
Just now. I finished my search and came back down, just in time to hear the class trial announcement. I took some time to go over the crime scene first. I can't go to a trial completely uninformed, can I? So that's why you were late.
However...
I'm sorry I kept you all waiting. But if you're on the second floor of the dorms, then that's what the key you found goes to?
Wrong.
Actually, to be precise, not quite.
In other words...
I use Monokuma's secret tool, which can open any lock in the school. What? Kyoko's a counter, yeah. We'll definitely have to go over our truth bullets, because we don't have the fucking investigation. Hey, what are you two doing? Hurry up before we get in trouble with Monokuma!
Makoto.
We can go over all the details after we get through the trial, okay, Makoto? Right now, I just want to focus on surviving our current situation.
It would seem...
Because this is probably the single most crucial moment so far for me. For her? That's a strange way to put it. Class trial is important for everyone, right? So why would you say it's a crucial moment for her?
Goodbye.
Well, if that's all. Seemingly unconcerned, she made her way to the elevator. I'm just overthinking what she said, right? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Being the last one left, I stepped into the elevator. And the doors slid shut. This time the clunking was loud enough to hurt my ears and the dread began to consume me once again. I can't imagine ever getting used to the mental pressure that comes from preparing for an execution. In that dusky darkness, nobody said a word. We just stood there, silent and still. After an immeasurable period of time, the doors opened without warning. A dazzling light penetrated every depth of my eyes. But it wasn't the illuminating light of hope. Oh, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. It was the blinding light of despair! Whoa, shit, colorful.
I can't wait!
Playhouse. Ah, I've been waiting for this. I feel like it's been forever since we got together like this. The time for pointless jokes and jabs is past. Let's get on with the show! So the curtain opened for the 5th time. A deadly this, a deadly that. A deadly bat, a deadly cat. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Alright, time for the prep. Let's just refresh our shit, eh? So... alright, so let's go over our truth bullets. So the Monokuma file. So, due to the explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Analysis of the body. The explosion has burnt the upper half of the body beyond recognition. The upper half of the body remained on fire and had to be extinguished. Because of this, the upper half was soaking wet while the bottom half remained dry. And the body was wearing notably long fake nails. Oh, okay. So that's just me cycling through them. Okay. I see. Fake nails, tattoo on the right hand of a dog. Bits of charred debris. It should be noted that the bomb, which had been removed from Monokuma in the gym, had disappeared. It's hard to imagine these two events are unrelated, so bomb shard, I guess. The sprinklers are programmed to come on every morning at 7:30, and that the time is impossible to change. As such, it can be assumed that if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, it would have gotten wet. Okay, when the body was found... So 7 AM, Makoto wakes to the morning announcement. Him and Aoi arrive in the dining hall at 7:30. At 7:30 to 9, Makoto meets the others in the gym and they headed to the headmaster's room. At 9 AM, Toko went off to find the pickaxe. That was where she came back as Genocide Jack. The knife found near the body was the same knife that was used to stab it before the explosion. There's also the same knife that Toko had given to Makoto for safekeeping, the one that was stolen out the drawer that the masked assailant had. We found a dirty tarp. One side was wet and filthy, the other was completely clean. The number of chickens in the coop changed. Yeah, so what, there were about 5 chickens. Yeah, so 1 chicken went down. Byakuya's account of the events. He stated that there was no corpse in the garden just after night time last night, so it can be assumed the murder must have taken place sometime after that. He also said that Hiro, Toko and Aoi were in the gym the entire night, and none of them were alone at any point. Who killed the 5th chicken? Who had fried chicken? The corpse had a mask covering, so the body before the explosion. The corpse had a mask covering its head and a white jacket covering the body. A knife had been thrust into the abdomen and there were blood stains around the wound. The body had stopped bleeding, but the blood was still wet. It was noted, however, that there was no blood on the ground or around the body. Okay, Nukuro's profile. She was known as the Ultimate Soldier. She bled and breathed military since a young age. Oh, actually, I catch up some of these votes. So, yeah, I did Hiro, but I don't think I've done Sakura up. Or Toko down. Sakura up, Toko down. I think Toko's... there she is. Down to Toko. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she was part of the group Fenrir. They got the tattoo. Monokuma's account. Yep, so there were 16 students. Monokuma was a bullshit bastard at the beginning. And that Kyoko's gloves hide some horrible scars. According to Monokuma, that was to a locker in the Japanesey looking room, the dojo. See, titanium arrows are found in the dojo locker. There were 10. Along with the arrows, there was a wadded up ball of duct tape in the locker. There are traces of blood on it. It's assumed to be related to the case, but nobody can imagine how. Kyoko's account, lastly, she used Monokuma's secret tool, which grants access to any room in the school. On the second floor of the dorms, she found a secret area. No monitors or security cameras. So, with that, we check our skills. Don't think I've got anything new. With that, we finish our prep.
Let's begin with a basic. If you
we
can fit,
get
I'll
the
punish
cards?
everyone. Okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
Whoa,
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost.
got a ghost.
But
Big spooky
she
old
has
ghost.
legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because
Lomryu.
she's like the latest evolution in ghost technology.
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
Her traits?
See that Monokuma account coming up early. One important trait that proves the body doesn't belong to her gloves.
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh! You know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably
Catch
just
on
got
fast.
burnt up in the explosion.
Of course.
I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
Ghost. It's a big ghost.
In the way the corpse was Kyoko, but if I can't prove why, we're going to be stuck here in case I move forward. So I don't have any choice but to. Not a ghost hero. Pregnancy of the body, sprinklers, analysis of the body, the tattoo, and the nails.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves for the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves.
I don't think so. I shot it, but I don't think so.
Shoot!
The nails in the gloves? The fake nails?
Kyoko there is just...
Okay, then prove
The
it.
dead body was.
They got burnt up.
Then she was wearing.
Well, yeah, she must... Because that corpse is absolutely...
This entire discussion is idiotic.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
Impossible.
What's the analysis of the body again? Burnt up body. Nails.
Okay,
I think it's fake nails.
She's not...
The dead body wasn't wearing.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah,
She must have been wearing gloves.
No, that's wrong.
Monokuma's been hooking Hero up.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails. Don't you think?
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Well, Kyoko, any thoughts?
These gloves were custom made to the size of my hands to make
Well,
sure they
then,
don't
am I right?
interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't belong to Kyoko.
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Okay, so then, who's the real victim? First, we need to figure that out.
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we have to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. shit.
If Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there wasn't any description in the Monokuma file. Well,
think I
if we can't identify the body...
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
If Kyoko really...
Both your statements seem shootable.
The face was scorched beyond recognition. And there
Was
wasn't any
scorched beyond
description in the
recognition.
Monokuma.
Toko's
If
not
we
wrong.
can't identify the body...
Can identify the body.
No, it's wrong.
Need to piece the logic together a bit.
There was one clue left behind that we can use to identify the body.
What? For real? You're lying. You'll
Swear,
die.
Hina, you
Oh,
don't
an
do any
unusual
investigating.
death.
Oh, an unusual death. This I gotta see.
Just Makoto, Byakuya, and fucking Kyoko. They do the investigating. Hero just gets everyone else
She's
started.
just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell us what you're talking about.
The key to figuring out who it was
Hina hits the pool and runs laps, does laps.
is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Is this a dog? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
Seriously? You really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, Toko, you make me
really?
feel all the things. You compare the tattoo to other information. I think it'd be Mukuro's profile.
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir somewhere on their body.
Fenrir?
The image that represents Fenrir is... We're doing a Hangman's Gambit over this. Big ass wolf. 4. Oh man. I'm so glad they saved this one for trial 5.
Now I understand.
Then they give me fucking Schizo in chapter 2.
The representation
is
of
this?
Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf beast. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo. And that means...
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf. Which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir. So it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Get his pointy fingers out.
Hold on. Isn't she the one that was behind this whole thing?
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool-ass trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermindy title to me.
Pretty dope one.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the first place.
I'm the ultimate despair.
After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
And who was she? Who was Mukuro Ikusaba? She's been gone this whole time? And when she finally turns up, she gets killed.
Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character? Which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost. Please limit all future prattle, chatter, and chit-chat as much as possible.
Much as possible.
Fine. Uncovering the identity of the mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place.
Like angry Monokuma on the side.
Hammer that point straight into your big ol' brains!
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope! There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
They tell the truth
Seriously?
most of the time.
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the list of possible suspects.
Huh?
I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Who the evidence points to?
There's going to be two suspects.
I got it!
Makoto and
You've narrowed
Kyoko.
it down to Kyoko and me, right?
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there.
Well, Byakuya, I'm going to go for my midnight dead body check walk.
So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's right. The four of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the four of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
The only suspects now are me and Kyoko. Damn it! I can't let this stand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body wasn't in the garden at... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the body? Oh, but what time did we find the body?
The one who saw the body first was Toko, right? And she went to go get the pickaxe.
Fuck, we didn't go get the body. It's 9 o'clock, right?
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was just before 9 o'clock, so it's probably 9 on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and be back here by 9:01.
He's right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
Murder happened between 10 p.m. 9 a.m. and I don't have an alibi from 10 till 7:30. Looks like the game has begun. I can't provide an alibi for that period. I just have to prove the murder didn't happen during the time I didn't have an alibi. Same bullets, okay. Right, can be the
We've
sprinklers.
established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, and Makoto doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
What was 7:30? Come on, Makoto, don't scare me like that! Let's so weird is going on!
We've
Let's actually just look at the evidence. So come on at 7:30. Every morning at 7:30. Impossible to change.
established a time frame.
Listen a little
somewhere
bit more.
between 10 and 9 o'clock in the Yep.
And Makoto just...
Yeah, from 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should. So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time.
Yeah, fuck you.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
In attack mode. Your move.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet. Dripping wet, in fact.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How?
How?
You're saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you spew such indecent words!
Mouth down south.
No, I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
What do you mean? By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Escalated.
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why!
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers that got the body wet. All I have to do is hit Toko with certain evidence, and that should do it. Oh, we're doing the fucking DDR. Alright, Toko, let my dance moves make a compelling
I
argument.
admit nothing. No! Enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I'm right about this. I admit nothing.
Where's the bullet time?
No!
Sorry, I'm fucking up.
Enough!
I actually have been using it. I activated it and I didn't realize
How
it.
can you say it wasn't the sprinkler?
No, the exploded body analysis. Damn it.
Are you trying to blame me?
My brain was not set to gear for this.
No!
Okay. Spider body analysis.
This should prove it.
Nah, I was trying to activate my fever mode, and I kind of always
remember
forget
what
the
body
button,
was
and
like
I really
after the
needed to
explosion,
activate it.
And you'll see why it
yeah.
wasn't the sprinklers.
Yep, now I have to trip it over myself.
The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half was completely dry. If the sprinklers got the body wet,
Toko
shouldn't
almost
the whole
convinced
body have been
everyone
wet?
that Makoto did it.
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Didn't sink in right away. I only got the top wet.
Let's just move on.
You said he gave her the cum shot and not the cream pie. The brutal
The
maniac.
reason only the top half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire, the top half.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't do it.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, then the murder must have taken place sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and when the body was discovered at 9.
But Makoto's alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night to 7:30 this morning, right?
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after all. Good for you.
Good for you.
In which case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
Kyoko's the only one without an alibi, which would mean that Mukuro's killer is. No, I refuse to believe it. Kyoko murdered someone.
I'd just like to say one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen.
So are you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss! Shutting up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko? But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all. And as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did.
What are you...
Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
Seems used to cover the body.
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean.
Me, I tell ya.
This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would they go to all that effort just to keep the body from getting wet?
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why, Lisa? Why? Why would Kyoko say that? Why would she want to make me look like the killer? No, I can't think about that right now. That tarp. If it was used the way Kyoko said, the tarp must have touched the body, right? But the body...
Wait. Something's not right.
And what might that be?
Can't worry about Kyoko's motivations. If I don't do something, everyone's gonna think I'm the killer. I have to refute what Kyoko said.
By covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
It's gonna sound like blood. Body for the explosion. Blood was wet. Yeah.
Covering the body with the tarp, the killer prevented.
So the reason that was the spring, but the underside, it was totally spotless. It's because
That side was protected from the water.
Fuck you! Something along those lines.
Oh, yes, I see. So what you're saying is, I have absolutely no idea.
Oh shit, Makoto's only got
By
one more
covering
fuck
the
up in
body
him.
with the tarp, the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one... inside is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp,
Knife at the crime scene. Da-da-da-da-da.
it was totally spotless.
Worst case scenario, I game
That's
over and give all my
that side was
fucking
protected
shit
from
back.
the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Got signed to do the blood stain.
Shoot!
Makoto did it! Well, funny, at least Makoto's actually the one on the chopping board this time. We're not jumping from, like, suspects that had nothing to do with Makoto to Makoto. Yes, we're gonna try
I
again.
refuse to give up yet.
No, Monokuma, I'm using the continue. Oh, okay. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Body for fragments near the body, then the body is found.
By covering the body with the tarp,
Can't be fragments near the body.
the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side is because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
Is it a copy bullet?
It's because that side was protected from the water. Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
Didn't get dirty. Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay.
By covering the body with the tarp,
Okay. Body before the
So
explosion.
the reason that was the spring, but the underside, it was totally. It's because
That side was
since it was facing down.
Of course it didn't get dirty.
No, it's wrong. Actually, one side being clean
I
is
was just
pretty strange if
absolutely
you think about it,
neglecting the last fucking last statement.
because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Byakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it, so nobody would know they'd used it.
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing the one side wouldn't hide anything.
Oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage?
What was
What?
camouflage?
After the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim.
You mean someone else's blood? Where would they get something like that?
I know! They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
The blood from right there in the garden. It's gotta be that.
I got it!
Chicken blood!
Could it have been chicken blood?
What? Chicken blood?
When I checked the chicken coop before the murder, there were 5
You cried
chickens.
over the chicken. You were saying you were keen for some fried chicken earlier.
But after the murder, there were only 4.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
How do you know they didn't?
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water and then covered the body in blood, right? But if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand.
They covered it beforehand?
When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeves.
Then that settles it.
That's it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off, but the body didn't get wet because the killer covered it with the tarp. Then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body, the coat they've already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off, at 7:30.
Who is it, guys?
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened earlier.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult.
Huh?
They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull the coat over the body. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe. But still,
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point on?
Those do sound like good
Oh
loaded
no!
fries.
I headed off to the gym, and Makoto didn't show up till later.
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
that's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
Suspicion falls back on me again, but why? Why is Kyoko being mean? I don't understand. The Sky's dead body has been added to my truth bullets.
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so once again, our suspects are him and Kyoko.
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Yeah, boy.
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Well, don't just stand there. Out with it.
Out with it,
You know that
woman!
knife we found all black and burnt?
One we found stuck in the body before it exploded, right? According to the Monokuma file, the knife went all the way through, from front to back. So, what about it?
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that knife somewhere before. That's what I thought when I first saw it. I just remembered.
Listen, more important. Now that we have the knife, what are we gonna do with it?
Oh, we can't let Toko keep it, that's for sure. We don't know what she might do.
I don't want it anyway. So what to do? Why don't you hang on to it, Makoto? Me?
It's the knife we gave to Makoto?
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed earlier.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it. It's just...
Couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
Suspicious! Very suspicious indeed. The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it. 12,000% convinced.
Considering everything up till now, I should be able to make it clear. I have to prove that I didn't murder anyone. I'm not the killer.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
Look at my new truth bullet in detail. So it took place before the sprinklers turned on. So it's a whole elaborate thing. The suspect covered the body to prevent it from getting wet, and they removed it. Did some voodoo ritual with the chicken.
I was afraid of
blood.
that.
Okay.
If he did have that knife before, then that seals it. Makoto did it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no question. You took that knife of yours and killed her
Stab,
with it.
stab, stab.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
So is there only one thing to refuse?
The knife we found lodged in the dead...
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
Makoto.
I was afraid...
If he did have that seals it.
Just because I had that automatic...
Well, getting stabbed is, so there's no question.
You took that knife. What a horrible man you are, Makoto.
Yeah, I know it's the knife or whatever. I used that knife to kill Mukuro. No, there's no way.
The knife...
Now, let's go over it all again. Body before explosion. The knife had been thrust into the abdomen. There were blood stains around the wound. It stopped bleeding. No blood around the body.
we found lodged in the...
Exploded body analysis. Burnt the upper half. Remained on fire. No, it's all fine. Don't have the Monokuma file. Fragments
It's
near
the
the
same one
body.
we gave to Makoto.
When the body was found. Photos with Elliot 30. Yeah. Okay, I think it's this because Makoto was always with someone. So Sprinkler could have gone off, but he wouldn't have had time unless it's trying to say between. Let's go for when the body was
It
found.
really is, isn't it?
If he did have that seals it.
Just because I had the knife, that automatically makes...
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
So there's no... You took that knife...
What a horrible man you are, Makoto. The knife we found...
It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that knife, that seals it.
Look, just because I had the knife, that automatically...
Well,
Getting stabbed is what killed her, right?
It is leading up to the head wound, but we're not there yet.
The knife we found lodged in the dead body.
This guy's dead body. It could even be a copy bullet. It took place before the sprinklers turned on. Yeah. Okay. No, how could he have done that?
it's the same one we...
It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that seals it.
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her.
No, that's wrong.
Because I was like, okay, for like the evidence explained in detail, the only angle I can
Wait,
see this
hold on.
taking is about
The
how...
stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro.
Yeah,
That should be clear from the description of the cover-up
We gotta
just heard.
start with how fucking Makoto is basically kind of always with someone. And he couldn't have done the chicken ritual.
What killed her?
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it,
So yeah,
right?
if Makoto did it, he wouldn't have had time to, kill a chicken and put the blood on it. And
In
just
other
kill it with
words,
someone.
the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
This is one of those obtuse, ones that I've mentioned. Where it's a little frustrating, you know where the game's trying to lead you, but
So what?
just somewhere the lines aren't connecting.
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Sure, not how I read it, but
Maybe
alright.
you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
Yes. The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot. There's no way it's possible. Monokuma file.
I got it!
Clearly
The
says she was stabbed
Monokuma
once.
file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
I didn't
And
read
the
it.
knife...
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy any evidence proving otherwise.
Oh, hey, I have a question. It kind of goes back to the beginning, but what's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just blow up all of a sudden like that?
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between your ears to use, you'd know the answer.
Well, if you're so smart,
butts.
just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle caused an atomic level spontaneous combustion.
Whoa, you went in for
I
it.
might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural, because of course, we saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute.
More and more obvious.
They
by
wanted the
minute.
knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
She's hot.
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what actually killed the victim.
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case regardless.
Determine what ultimately killed the victim. I need to concentrate. Three whole bullets, lucky me. That reeks a copy bullet.
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh, yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her entire body. Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined.
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah. She was already totally dead.
And it wasn't because of the knife, right? And then there's only one.
Oh, yeah. That's gotta be it.
There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
I've gone around the wrong way. I copied that and shoot Byakuya's one out. Has to be.
Then shall we continue? The victim's fatal. The explosion didn't kill her.
Well, yeah.
And it wasn't because of the knife.
Ah.
And then there's only one other.
Oh, yeah.
Well, buds.
That's gotta be it.
There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds across her
Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's
Fatal injury has yet to be determined.
No, it's wrong.
Reeks a copy bullet. Like, only three truth
Mukuro died
bullets.
because of the blow
Ones
to
that have
the
been
back of the
used
head she
already.
suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really matter.
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the blow to the back of her head is what killed her.
But then, what was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh, I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in completely.
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't be able to swing it with any kind of power. I wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with a metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that
accident.
nasty brain of yours, throw it on the ground, and spit on it.
Hurry up and fuck already, you two.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
Real murder weapon.
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? That sounds kinda weird.
Bang the wrong bitch.
Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
Don't blame Hina for doubting it because there's one more thing about that weapon. One more secret.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, 'cause in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Boom!
No, he's wrong.
Turn it into a projectile fucking ball of death.
You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape. The killer probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using the duct tape would easily create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak, but put them together and they become strong. It's meant to teach cooperation.
Damn, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? Are you even listening?
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon in the dojo locker, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all. Remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the evidence that proves Kyoko went to the dojo.
You do. She had the key.
I got it! The one thing that proves Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit. You can't explain this away, so just give up.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just, there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there?
I just like to watch.
That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me? Then does that mean she knew I was being attacked? And she came to my rescue? Could that be when... Which would mean that Kyoko, she killed someone? For me?
That's enough. The time for idle chatter is over. A verdict is close at hand.
Wait. I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know?
What? Yaku should know better than anyone? What does that mean?
Those words you just spoke.
Three
What do you
bullets
mean?
again.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
That is Byakuya's account again, though. No corpse in the garden just after night time last night. Must have taken place after that.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said. I'm not. Not the killer. You should understand that more.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, that's not that.
Shoot! Those words you just...
Exactly. I'm not the. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something.
there's proof that you aren't the... Is that what you're saying?
You stated it. You said I hid the evidence of my crime and then left the locker key in my own room.
Correct.
But could I really have done that?
Those words you just...
Exactly. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than.
Byakuya,
Master would never.
There's proof that you... Is that what you're saying?
You stated it. You said I hid the and then left the locker
key in my own room.
correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just...
Exactly. I'm not the. You should understand.
Byakuya,
Master would never hide something.
there's proof that you aren't the culprit.
No, it's wrong.
Voices!
If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room
Why not?
because she had given her room key to Byakuya.
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room...
Then obviously I had no way of getting in. Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly put the locker key in there myself. Am I wrong?
It would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There's a clear contradiction in what Kyoko just told us, an obvious lie. But this just isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie. Does she really feel that threatened? Because she's the killer? Or is it something else? Is there some deeper meaning hidden in what Kyoko said earlier? If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever. Which is why I can't let that happen. This is a trap the Mastermind has laid for us. Mastermind's trap. Trying to trap Kyoko? But what if that's not really true? What can I do? What should I do? What should I... Mastermind's trap. The victim was Mukuro and Kyoko killed her? What does Kyoko really know? What am I supposed to do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows it's a lie. I'm the only one who can expose this. But who can I trust? What am I supposed to do? Mastermind's trap. If you spend all your time trying to avoid danger, you'll never move forward. We know the danger, but if that risk means solving the mystery, we have no choice. Am I wrong? What do I do? Run away. Alrighty, so we're gonna pursue.
There
the
was a lie hidden within Kyoko's statement just now.
A lie?
Isn't that right, Kyoko?
You said it. The burden of proof is on you. So let's hear it. Where's this lie, then?
Kyoko's definitely lying. It must be because there's some other deeper truth she wants to keep hidden.
I didn't have the key to my room because I'd given it to Byakuya. There's no doubt about that, right?
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten into my room.
Then, when we searched Kyoko's, how else could the key have gotten there?
Someone other than me must have put it there. That's the only
Secret tool.
explanation.
She knows about. Yeah.
I didn't have because I'd given it to Byakuya. There's no doubt.
You are correct.
So I couldn't possibly have gotten
Put
into
in
my
the
room.
ball.
No, that's wrong. No, Kyoko could have gotten into her room. You said so yourself, didn't you, Kyoko?
Actually, be precise, not quite. I used the secret tool. What?
Monokuma's secret tool?
Kyoko stole it from the headmaster's room. It lets you get into any room in the school, which means she could have used it to get into her own room.
Then I guess that's it.
You're giving up just like that? You admit to killing...
No, I'm simply recognizing that I lost.
What are you talking about?
Like I said, this was a trap, and I wasn't able to escape it. So I lost. That's all this means.
Then, are you saying you really didn't... Kyoko, you really aren't the killer?
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
I'm sorry to say, but your time is up! All done, all finished. The class trial is all over.
But that's ridiculous! Since when is there any...
It's because you were late, so the trial started late and time ran out. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you. But I guess we already know who the blackened is, don't we?
Good job! You got it right! Brilliantly right! We got it right. Does that mean Kyoko really is the killer? But something strange is going on here. There's something wrong with this whole class trial. Kyoko!
Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I mean, that would actually be terrifying. Especially because you can't even see it, you can only hear it getting closer. Then all that's ahead of you is a fucking class lesson. Alright. Guess what? We're going to be rewinding time a bit. Well, the game's going to rewind it for us. So, the option I took takes you to a bad ending. And it is going to take us right back to the decision moment after we get our bad ending. And we're going to choose to take the fall instead. I still had to wonder whether... But there was a certain something. There's a certain something in the previous stream, and I told everyone to save it into their banks. Here comes the payoff. I still had to wonder whether Kyoko was actually innocent, or regardless, the truth was lost forever. Even for me. I just stopped thinking about it. That was the end of Mukuro's class trial, and in the end, it would prove to be our last class trial. Once that case was over, there was never a single murder at Hope's Peak ever again. We had obtained peace in exchange for the lives of all the others. Never doesn't get shocking. Peace, but only inside the school. Peace, but only for us. That was the only hope we had. It's not his jacket, he's holding up a photo. Yeah. Suggesting that I guess Toko probably committed suicide after Byakuya got in on that heater action. Hope. 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 This is Hope?
No! This isn't right!
So yeah, Hero predicted the bad ending. I kind of love that.
Makoto, why are you staring off into space? Don't you have a rebuttal for Kyoko's claim?
Her claim? Oh, that's right, I have to. Do I expose Kyoko's lie or not? Yep, I do that. What do I do? We're gonna let it go. Made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here, something that is to do with the mastermind's trap that Kyoko mentioned.
Does no one have a rebuttal? Have you decided to accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still refuse to accept it. I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the locker key in her room, that it was someone else.
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
You! What are you trying to imply?
But of course, I have an alibi. From nighttime on, I was with you guys the entire time. I couldn't possibly have killed anyone, or put the key in Kyoko's room.
Well, someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretended to find it there.
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial.
No, this is a confusing trial. It's supposed to be. That's why Makoto is going, what the fuck's going on here?
And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay? Everyone, please vote using the lever in front of you!
Voting time?
That one C section from when Toko just absolutely destroyed me in a dance battle.
Now, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice? Hey, hold on! What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Yeah, the alternate ending, the murders stopped, and so indeed they didn't get to leave the school, and so, yes, Hina being, well, I guess poor old Toko didn't even get picked for, like, fucking genetic diversity, so she killed herself. I could just see it as like just someone claiming Hina, like, oh, I shotgun Hina, and then Byakuya being like, no, as the member of the Togami family, I get the hot one. And then Hina being like, but I like Makoto the most. Alright, we will all do it, I don't know. Anyway, what? You think I'm the killer?
Sorry, man.
Sorry. It's all your fault. Everyone, you're wrong. You got it all wrong. I didn't do it. Good job, everyone. Good job.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it right. No, I know that's not true. None of this makes any sense. The whole trial doesn't make any sense.
Hey.
It makes perfect sense.
Shing.
It's the same as always. It's like all the other class trials, and I'm gonna end it the same way.
Chills!
It's time for your heart-pounding, positively thrilling punishment! Wait, why do I... Kyoko?
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoko.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
That's okay, I was supposed to be found guilty this time. Deja vu. I feel like I've been here before. There's sperms going into her. I only just noticed there was sperms going into the womb on the fucking board. So is he given sex ed while he gets crushed? Here's a lesson on what you'll never be doing before you die. Alter ego! What's this? What's going on? Hey, what's that?
Oh yeah, it had to be.
This is
Alter ego. Alter ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid guy? He must have planted it when he invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe
It
this.
would seem
Seems you finally made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning.
What the heck?
What was that?
In other words,
What I'm saying is, you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an inch. The stupid virus is gone now. Got it? And so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get to smash him flat, but you're never gonna see him again. To waste away in a garbage-strewn pit in a way that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm still gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the entire world.
Is he gone?
Hey, Kyoko, what's the meaning of all this? Just what the hell is going on?
calm down.
It's okay, we're not the ones being trapped this time.
In other words,
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
What did you say?
What are you talking about?
so
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. The massive high school towers over all the other buildings in the bustling urban area. It's like the school stands at the center of the entire world. Hope's Peak Academy. It brings in top students from every field imaginable, a government-funded school of privilege. They say that if you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. For hundreds of years, a tradition that sends the cream of the crop into the workforce every year. It was built to raise hope in the nation's future, which makes Hope's Peak a pretty fitting name. I've been here before. There are two things you need to attend to school. One, you have to already be attending high school. Two, you have to be the very best at what you do. No ordinary student could enroll here. The only way is if you're scouted by the school itself. Pen down, pen down, pen down. Standing there at the gates of the ultimate school filled with the ultimate students was me, the loser. What? Where am I? I woke up, my head resting on top of a hard wooden desk. My body felt heavy. It wouldn't be weird for me to zonk off in the middle of some boring class or whatever, but what was I doing asleep here just now? Wasn't any classroom I'd ever been in before. What the heck is going on? Gah! Finally. I could finally feel my mind and body start to come back together again, and then I was awake. Was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare. No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. I was in a vast dark cavern with the barest hint of light seeping in. Thank God I'm here in Fourth Wall Land, it's very well lit. Trash is piled high all across the area. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. A heck of a situation to find myself in. But that was just the beginning of my problems. Was I going to be stuck in here till I wasted away and died? No, I can't let that happen. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. I remembered all too well what had happened. Alter Ego saved me, and he used up the last little bit of his strength to do it. So I can't give up now, for myself and for my friend. And with that, my pursuit of survival began. First up was to start looking for a way out. Well, we'll start with the very obviously locked door. Rattle, rattle. It's locked. Rattle, rattle. No matter how many times I pushed the pulled or kicked, it didn't budge. It's not going to be easy to get out of here. Well, if I'm not getting out anytime soon, I decided to look around for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten. But that was pointless too. Next, I searched for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are an all-around bad idea? Again, pointless. I feel like I'm blocked in on all sides. But that's still not enough reason to give up because I'm still alive. There's hope. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. After making that proud declaration, the next thing I decided to do was go to sleep. My sleep was deep and uninterrupted. That was my only way to preserve what little strength I had left after not being able to eat or drink. I can't be sure, but I think at least a full day had to have passed, and all I did was sleep and sleep. It was like I was waiting for some kind of sign to come falling out of the sky. However, what fell from the sky wasn't a sign. Not exactly. Crunch! Is that Pokemon? What the? A strange sound pierced my silent isolation, jarring me awake. As I watched, the pile of garbage jostled and formed an odd shape. Did something fall down over there? Something fell from up above. What could it have been? Did a giant piece of trash just fall down here? I carefully stretched my hand out towards whatever it was and it tumbled downhill with me.
Just a second.
A giant piece of trash. Rude. Before she even emerged from the pile of garbage, I knew who it was.
It smells
Cup noodle in her hair.
awful.
Kyoko!
Indeed.
You look like you're doing better than I expected. But what are you doing
So-
here? Isn't it obvious? I'm here to help you. I'm glad to hear that, Kyoko. You got a bit of garbage in your hair. She gave her head a quick, sharp shake to get rid of the trash, then faced me
Hey.
again. Just all gone. First, I have something to give you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you've finished. Thank you! I snatched the bread and water that she was holding out for me. Within seconds, it was in my mouth and making its way towards my stomach. Phew, that really hit the spot. Now I've got all the energy I need to keep going. So you still haven't given up then? Of course not! After all, the fact that I can keep going forward is about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. So, how's it going? But Kyoko, why'd you come here to rescue me?
So...
To pay a debt, or no, to atone. Atone?
You...
During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything. So you knew that I knew.
Indeed.
But even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that, you didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you.
However...
But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but... there was a reason I had to survive, no matter the cost. Why did you have to survive?
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive...
In other words...
is so that I can do what I came to this school to do. What? I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak Academy for one very important reason! So you have some reason for coming to Hope's Peak?
Indeed.
That's right. At least I did once. Once? Until recently, I'd forgotten what it was. You forgot, but that's... I had no memory of what my purpose was. No memory? That's impossible! Amnesia? Then is it really true you lost your memory?
Makoto.
Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us as soon as we arrived at the school? The first thing. You're talking about when we fainted, right? I fainted, and when I woke up, I was trapped here.
That's right.
I fainted too, and when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation within myself, a disconnect.
It would seem...
Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to this school, and I couldn't remember what my ultimate ability was. But what would make you forget all that?
Hey.
Strange, isn't it? It's hard to imagine it happened by chance. It seems much too convenient. Are you saying you think you lost your memory because...
Indeed.
I don't think. I'm positive it was the work of the Mastermind. They stole my memory. But why would they want to do that? There's only one reason I can come up with. Because of my purpose and my ability, somehow they would interfere with the Mastermind's plans. So the Mastermind just stole them from you?
However...
And it could also mean somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the Mastermind, which is why I have to get them back. That's why I've been investigating things by myself this whole time. But if what you say is true, why didn't you ask the rest of us to help you?
Why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the Mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the Mastermind is actually one of us. What?
Correct.
Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right? The mastermind, one of us. If she believed that, then of course she couldn't trust anyone around her. In which case, it only makes sense that she would look into her missing memory by herself.
However,
That being said, there is a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. But why me? Because among everyone, you were least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but... oh, I'm too lame. Your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I understand. I should understand everything. My goal isn't to get out of here. It's to stay here.
It's just like the dream I had before, but why did that just happen?
listen.
Are you okay? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right?
Hey,
Even now, I still trust you, you know. It's just, I'm not used to relying on others.
correct.
I know I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. Honestly, I was convinced. I think that's just her personality. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own, so how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything?
So,
I think there's still a lot I don't remember, but at the very least, I was finally able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known me for. I'm the ultimate detective. Yeah, makes sense, checks out. The ultimate detective.
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope's Peak Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. You had to find someone? Who?
so,
Well, it was the headmaster of Hope's Peak Academy. The headmaster? Why did you want to find the headmaster? Because he's my father. What?
in other words,
I was separated from him as a child, as it turns out. He became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. Kyoko's dad? Is Hope's Peak headmaster? Then that explains... An alter ego told us how he thought the headmaster was involved. I'll find a way. Huh? No matter what it takes, I will find the
no
headmaster.
matter what?
No matter the cost.
So,
Kyoko, what's going on?
I
My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when he said that, I felt strange. Makes perfect sense now, of course, since my whole purpose for coming here was to find him. That makes sense.
However,
But listen, Makoto, I want to make things perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said what I felt based on what I'd seen when I snuck into the headmaster's room. Then what did you see in there?
so,
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the desk drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there. You mean the mastermind, right?
it's true.
That was my assumption, yes, and to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. But why there? Because I also found this in the headmaster's room. This is some kind of map.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope's Peak Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Mukuro's profile and that key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time, and I figured that the headmaster would have had some kind of private room there. I assumed that if that were true, the room would likely hold more clues, so I went to
Correct.
check. And that's when I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So you went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room
However,
there? Once I got there, I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. So what was it like? That part of the school, I mean. It's hard to describe. All I can say is... The moment I saw it, I realized... Whatever's going on in this school is more horrific than we've ever imagined. What do you mean?
so,
I can't explain it. You need to see for yourself. And I'm sure you'll get your chance soon enough. Sounds like it must be important and really ominous. Keep chatting,
However-
chatting, Kyoko. Oh, okay. Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba, doesn't
however,
it? Just to be perfectly clear, I didn't kill her. And I know it wasn't you either. Oh shit. Snorlaxy. I know you're right, but that just means everyone but you and me had an alibi, so then who did kill her?
Anyway,
What I can say for sure is that the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Ikasaba was to get me killed. Get you killed?
indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation, they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the point of the class trial. It was? The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly. You mean because of the school regulations?
That's right.
Exactly. With minimal restrictions, you're free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion.
In other words,
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, they tried to use the class trial to do it. The mastermind couldn't step in because of the rules? That makes it sound like the mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
hey,
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikasaba. What's that? There's a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto. I could have been the victim?
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean
I got a knife.
during the night?
I
I can hear them, you know. The footsteps of the god of death. What? Why are you talking like an anime villain? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away as I followed it. I saw the shadow go into your room.
correct.
I ran into your room and I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things, of course. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the Master Sailor was, they ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. It all has to be the work of the Mastermind! Attempt to use my trial to eliminate me. So this would all mean that whoever killed Mukuro is also the Mastermind,
Indeed.
right? I don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. But that's really bad if true. It means the Mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Wait, but doesn't that create another contradiction? The Mastermind wanted to use the class trial to try and kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
You're right, that is a contradiction. And it's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means that the Mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Huh?
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the Mastermind's identity. The identity of the other Ultimate Despair. The other Ultimate Despair? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the Ultimate Despair and that she's dead. But I don't think the Ultimate Despair is just one person. It's not.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the Ultimate Despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking
That's
about
right.
what happened a year ago, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. A tragedy, whoever's responsible for that. And the Ultimate Despair? That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. And there,
Indeed.
make no mistake, they're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the Ultimate Despair, and that is our real enemy. Oh, look at that. To be continued. I got a rocket, alright. That's one word for it. Yeah, so we're definitely not finishing this one tonight. I reckon we still have about 30 or 40 minutes of good stuff until we're at a cut-off point. Let's begin. So, Chapter 6! The final chapter. So, this chapter is all about filling in the blanks. Figuring out the shit we haven't figured out yet. It all coming together. It all coming to a head. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. Those same people put together this killing game and began broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy is finally being revealed. But right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. Yeah, you're right. So, your key? Do you still have that one thing? The secret tool that you got from the headmaster's room? Of course I do. It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the Mastermind. I would never part with it. And it can open any door in school, right? That's right. And we should be able to use it on that big ass fucking Dark Souls ass door. Okay. Yep.
It's true.
Let's find out. She took the key, she slid it in, and she turned it, and the window clicked, and it opened.
Indeed.
Open Sesame. And now we can get out of here. Let's go. Sounds good. We quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. Finally, we were finally free. But it wasn't even time to take a breath of relief because the real fight had just begun. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long, I couldn't even see where it ended. Oh, what a thrill. Darkness and silence through the night. Metal Gear Solid 3 is getting a fucking remake. Oh, and they're all fucking getting re-released. We climbed into darkness. So, if anyone's played Metal Gear Solid 3, they're destined to think of one scene in it where you climb up a long-ass ladder. So, the passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. It is the best long ladder in all video games. I had no idea we were so far down. Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. So Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long? Ever since I can remember. Time to wet my whistle, I think. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So,
right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do what we must to protect it. Because like I said, it's our source of pride. Right, so that explains. Before I came here, Wen was looking up info about the school online. I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family?
However...
And yet, I gave up on some of that pride. In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because of how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect. I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all these years, right? You would have had so much to talk
Wrong.
about. There's nothing I want to talk to my father
However,
about. There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. Well, what is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kitty Goody family. He was talented. He had a promising
However,
future. But he had no interest in detective work, so he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument. And young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression. So I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not
However,
true. But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good
However,
thing. But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his
Correct.
shadow. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family in order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, they just cut him out like that.
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence while Snake Eater played in the background. And after, I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Yeah, so climbing up a long-ass ladder just sounds like one of my fucking nightmares. Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Well, here goes nothing. Reached my right hand up and pushed against the hatch. It opened with ease, and so... Looks like we're back. Oh, look, that's where that door went to all the way back in Chapter 1. I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of there. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of there without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. So now what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too, you helped me, so they might... You're worried. Yeah, of course.
So then...
And let's just get a concrete answer. Huh?
In other words...
Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping. Well, wait, that's...
However...
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out. And it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry. What you think is going to happen isn't.
Because
the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared? You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So,
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. It was?
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it will be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little... no, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the Gaim.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. To the Gaim! Gaim? What the hell's a Gaim? Oh, a Gaim. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I could have fast traveled, but you know, I simply forgot about it. Monokuma will be impressed that I took the long way and didn't fast travel. Hey! Kyoko, I don't mind so much, but Makoto's supposed to be dead! What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished! Did Kyoko help you? So what if I did? What will you do? If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate that that is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again! And this time I won't leave anything to chance! Kyoko! Do whatever you feel you have to. What?!
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose? Hey! You! Explain yourself! What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Black End and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
When Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right,
And in response to their unexpected development,
indeed,
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
however,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid after you killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Black End is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the Black End is me and not Makoto.
Well?
And you can prove this, right? No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of
That
evidence?
doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find
That's
some.
right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared enough for another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love so much
However-
to inspire. But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the
And
heck?
that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
Indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
The light!
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square, wiki
That's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
Do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time, you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? Fair trial, one last showdown, in other words. This would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer and the Mastermind themselves. But what reason would the Mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting.
Barret!
Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. It's time for bear jokes! Now, what you've suggested might be plausible. It would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm pre-bad to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain
Let's have one
myself.
final grisly showdown. He agreed. And we still have a shot at this.
Barret!
But this is a long awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
Guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's poured around the school. If you can do
I
that,
can barely contain
then
myself.
that'll be enough to qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and to solve the mysteries of this school,
Guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this has all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is held.
What's wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations, and having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Huh? Mukuro's trial is no exception, and it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro. It's all very polarizing approach, I know, but okay. Enough puns! Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but the killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why do you go quiet all of a sudden?
I'm done talking! I got nothing left to say to you, so get lost, would ya?
Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey! Leave me alone! Get me out of here!
Okay, I'm going. You really gonna let me go?
I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. Why don't you start getting it ready? A super duper extra special punishment. Overflowing with despair.
Hey.
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Okay. Alright. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away, and just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than I expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
However...
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the Mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from the final showdown, do they?
So...
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
Because...
It's all because of that one moment that the Mastermind let their guard down, like I said. So when was it that the Mastermind let their guard down? I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember what the Mastermind said? They said that they hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
And what do you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
We don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However...
And yet somehow the Mastermind was able to do it.
In other words...
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
So...
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost, us killing each other. They wanted to show the world?
It would seem...
The Mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anyone.
In other words...
So the Mastermind's ultimate goal is to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey.
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the Mastermind wants the world to see that to try and prove that despair is better than hope.
The dark side is better than the light side.
That's their goal, is the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous!
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But, is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer? I know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led to the Mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
In other words...
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world. The Mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the Mastermind simply ignored their rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least...
At least that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the Mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves?
Indeed.
That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead they tried to use the class trial, following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. Due to that failure, the Mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the Mastermind had to accept your suggestion?
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they had to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
It would only do the Mastermind harm to have it shown that they had violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the Mastermind to accept your challenge?
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance because you believed in me. Another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the Mastermind's thoughts and plans you're able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning, essentially. I was making a bet. It looks like I got it right this time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I'd showed my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yep, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
correct.
Or everything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the Mastermind, it will cost us our lives. There is no option except
Hey.
to win. But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True, but now we know who our real enemy is. All we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the Mastermind. Work together with everyone.
However,
Is that really possible? Huh?
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to go find the
shall we
others.
go?
They're probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Well, yeah, we'll go. We'll quick travel even. Whoop. Probably in the dorms, huh? Butts in the dorms. It's gonna be in the kitchen. No, it's night time, so no. Oh, okay. Well, it's good enough. And suddenly we were greeted with. Okay. You again? Yes, computer noises. Boop. Is he broken? I suppose his emotional instability reached its limit. For some times too. Jeez, what the heck?
However,
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ah!
Is that Makoto?
You guys!
Byakuya off to the side there. I'm not happy he's alive.
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto.
I'm not that happy.
You survived?
Jeez. You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
Everyone was there, all my friends who had struggled together and survived. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
Wait, what's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, that seriously stinks.
It's Makoto! He smells like a wet dog! Get away, shoo shoo! And in a flash, my tears dried up.
Makoto.
There's no time to indulge in an extended happy reunion. We need to explain to everyone what happened with
Yes.
Monokuma. Explain? Explain what?
But is it okay that you're here? What if the Mastermind catches you?
It's true.
That's related to what I have to tell you all! I need to tell you all about the last class trial. Last class trial?
In other words,
We're going to redo Nukuro's trial. What? Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of redoing it? Makoto killed her, right?
No, I didn't do it, like I keep telling you.
wrong.
Makoto isn't the killer, and of course it's not me or any of you. Who is it?
I see.
What she's saying is, it was all the work of the Mastermind.
What? You're saying the mastermind killed Mukuro?
That's right.
That's right, it was all an elaborate trap contrived by the mastermind. Makoto spotted the trap in time and did what he had to stop it.
However,
But his decision meant that he would be the one to die.
What did you say?
You spotted the trap, did you, Makoto? You make it sound like it was easy, I just,
however,
But executing Makoto, who wasn't the Blackened, was a clear violation of the school regulations. The rules state that only the Blackened is to be executed. The Mastermind broke their own rules, which is why I went and negotiated with them to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the Mastermind agreed? Does that mean they really did break the rules? They had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain the leverage you needed, didn't you?
correct.
Very observant of you.
Naturally.
I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. When you said, now it's the Mastermind that's ensnared, that's what you were referring to.
Don't be mean!
Hey, I'm totally in the dark here.
For anyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it again later. So, knowing all of this, what do we do now? It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So our job is to expose the Mastermind! But there's more to it than that, correct? Yeah, for us to win this time, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding the school. Every last mystery?
But
We've been looking around all this time and we still don't know anything, right?
Anyway,
You've probably guessed already, but if we lose this time, everyone dies.
I
Everyone!
hate you!
Oh, Mr. Lancaster's online. No, turn it off. Hey, who said you agreed to those terms without talking to the rest of us? Oh, I'm fine with things the way they are. I'm fine living there forever, Master. I, meanwhile, want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible.
Anyway.
Humanly. Mumbled on Byakuya's words there. Anyway, at this point, the only way for us to survive is to unravel the truth. In other words, one decisive final battle, a rather interesting development, I'd say.
But
Figuring out who the Mastermind is, and how they killed Mukuro, and all the school's mysteries.
It's a pretty tall friggin' order.
Maybe, but this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy is now. So if we work together and search as hard as we can, I'm sure we'll solve all those mysteries. I'm not so sure about that. Huh? I can't agree. Why can't you agree? You can agree, why not? I mean, working together with everyone seems like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries.
Indeed.
That's what I thought too at first. Till Monokuma gave us that little hint of his. Hint? It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but the killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high schoolers, and the only people to take a single step since it began was those 16 students.
I see.
Monokuma said that, did he? Then Kyoko's opinion is perfectly reasonable. Huh? But why?
So, in other words,
The Mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko says. Then the Mastermind would have had to set foot in the school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro. There's no way he could have disguised the scene like
in
that.
other words,
But according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope's Peak are the 16 students who have been taking part in the killing game. Then the Mastermind is... There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning. Add in Mukuro and you get 16. So the Mastermind would have to be one of them?
that's right.
And of those 16 people we started out with, the only ones still alive are the people standing right here. Need I continue, or do you get it now?
You're saying the Mastermind is one of us?
wait!
You can't be serious. Well, wait, we can't say for sure that's true yet. Monokuma might have just said all that to confuse us. It's certainly a possibility, but only one among many. The Mastermind being one of us is also a possibility. And that is one possibility we can't ignore. Yeah, I mean, they're ultimate, right? The ultimate despair. They must have been a high schooler. You can't say it's not possible. But if one of us was the mastermind, they'd have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was active?
Well...
Maybe they snuck off and controlled him in secret.
But...
I don't care how sneaky you are, we would have noticed someone sneaking off that many times.
I'm right?
Maybe Monokuma was on autopilot. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogue and actions beforehand.
In that case, there's no way he could have had all those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible if they directed the flow of the conversation. Well, maybe, but still.
This is a school announcement. You've all probably figured this out by now, but at this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode. So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school. Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
How very magnanimous of him to unlock all the rooms.
That's fine.
The time for talk is done. Now we need to begin our investigation. But I was planning on working alone from the beginning anyway.
In the name of my family.
At this point, I can rely on myself, on the Togami blood flowing through my veins. I have no time to worry about the rest of you. Each of you must uphold your responsibility. Well then. After making his final statement, Byakuya left the dining hall. Come, master! He didn't take me with him.
Hey.
Do you blame him?
Without master, the rest of you were like coffee with cream without the cream or the coffee. You're totally useless. So bye. With that, Toko trudged out of the dining hall.
Now she's gone. You're gonna go off by yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right.
Which just leaves Makoto, Hina, and me.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna go by myself,
Just a
too.
second.
Wait, how come?
How about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my totally awesome spirit power to figure out the mastermind's identity.
Laughing loudly, Hiro left the dining hall. Everyone's really gonna go off by themselves? What about you, Hina? I guess I'll do the same thing.
But...
I mean, it's not that I don't trust everyone, you know.
I mean...
But up to now, I haven't really been all that useful. I just depended on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you hadn't been here, I would have died. But Makoto? It's really nice of you to say. But still, I know I've mostly been totally useless.
Okay.
So I figure at least here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us all get out of here. So I'm gonna go off and do it on my own. See you later. Hina was in surprisingly high spirits as she dashed out of the dining hall, and once again, it's just us two.
Indeed.
So that's all. We will commence the investigation, and that is where we'll end today's episode. So you're gonna go off on your own too, right, Kyoko? Well, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do our searches separately doesn't mean we can't still work together. That goes for all of us. I think I see what you mean. Doing our own investigating doesn't mean we can't work together in the end. I should just see it as us splitting up to cover more ground. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Yeah, that's right.
So then...
Well, I'd better get going. I have an endless list of things I need to check.
Correct.
Monokuma said all the doors in the school had been unlocked, right? So we should all be able to investigate every nook and cranny in the school. We can visit all the places we couldn't go before. Makoto, no matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. By any means necessary. With that, Kyoko was gone, leaving only me. I don't have time to waste either. I have to begin my search. I still can't believe the mastermind might be one of us. So that's what I have to prove. I'll prove that the mastermind isn't one of us. I'll expose the mastermind's true identity and solve the mystery of the school. And then we can escape together! Alrighty, so the last episode, we investigate all the mysteries of the school. We go down one little darkness versus light, hope versus despair, good versus bad. I'm gonna do one more OCD save. Yep, here we go. I've got a few votes to add in there, so Monokuma took another hit. Toko getting obliterated. Toko getting shed on this stream. Hero up to 26. I've been adding a lot of the votes earlier. Yeah. Yep, no, you've been up in your Sakuras. I don't think anything particularly has changed. I've updated Makoto. Yeah, no, likes of Chihiro and Celeste is still too high for anyone else. No, what's Tucker at? Yep, no, Tucker's still less likes than Toko. Oh well, it's gonna get wild, I'll tell you that much. It's a wild little finale of a wild game series. So, frankly, I've got shit on this weekend, so I think we kind of have to let it go to next week. The only other days I could possibly do is tomorrow or Sunday. That's if we wanted to do the Danganronpa 2 on Thursday route. I think it's actually just you two and Rachel here in chat. So I don't need to put it up to any stupid fucking thing. We're all friends here. You do it however you wanna, to be honest. I could end it tomorrow. So that is asking, what are y'all up to on Friday night? That's how informal we're getting here. What are y'all up to on Friday night? So we go out. I'm just making out with my pop filter now. You'll be around, I believe, yeah. I know there's at least that Pokemon Go shit on Saturday. I'm keen to bang it out tomorrow. One final showdown. Well, it's all fresh on the mind, I guess. And then, yeah, that will... Gotta help your parents move. Alright, tomorrow it is. We're gonna lock that one in. I will not have work on the following day, so we can easily finish this bitch. 2 birthdays. Alrighty. Well then, court will reconvene tomorrow. I'll add the bonus stream up in there. I'll update the Discord with the current tier list there. So no, thank you for tuning in, you guys. Yeah, it's been a fun little evening. What time? 5. 5:30 if that's too late for you guys. Gotta make it count since it's, yeah, kind of us deciding it. I'll need to cut all this fucking shit out of the VOD. How pointless. Easy peasy. Alright. Well, you won't be confused for long then. Tomorrow we get all the answers. So until then, enjoy the rest of your evening. And we begin the third, and we end the first Danganronpa game tomorrow. Alright, love y'all. Peace out. Take care.